to calculate something, you need the input, right? You have to ask the user that tell me the number that I need to add. So in that case, we use the input function to get the input from the user. Similarly, if we do the calculation after getting the input, let's say we got 10 and 20, we added it, we got 30. Now I have to show that to the client or whoever has asked me, or the user. So to reply him back, we have to display it on the console of the PyCharm. So that is where we use, so we need a method to display the output. So in that case, we use the print function. So for input, we write the input function. For showing the output, we are using print function. So there are many syntax where you can use the print function and the input function in a different way. Let's start with the input function here. We can take a string, right? Name. Let's take a name. Name equal to input, or maybe the first name, F name. Enter first name, or maybe enter your first name. L name. Input. Enter your last name. So we have learned join operator. So what if we do one thing like full name equal to F name plus L name. Print full name. This is a small program to print the full name. Let's run it. When we are running it, see, it is asking me enter your first name. Why? Because I have used the input function to ask the user. Now I will write my first name, Pratik. So I wrote this. When I press enter, it will go to the next line. When I press enter in the console, it will go to this line again. It will ask me the second question as input. So I'm just pressing enter. See, the second input statement appeared here. So yeah, I forgot to place the colon. So let me rerun it. Yeah, enter the first name, Pratik. Enter the last name, Bose. Okay. When I'm pressing enter, it will execute this and show me the result. See, my full name has been written here. So this is how it printed the value after getting. So to make any operations, it needs, the user, it asks the user to take input. Stephen, am I clear to you?
Yeah, we are getting there, man.
Okay, so now I will give you a trick and a question just now. Okay, so let's say I am building a calculator. A equal to enter your first number. Enter the first number. Enter the second number, B. So sum equal to A plus B. Sum. So I'll comment this out here. So tell me, Stephen, will it return me the value or not?
It will return you when you run the very first time.
Okay, I'm running it. Then
enter the first number. When you enter the first number, it will
it's a 10. I'm writing 10. Enter. Second number is 20. If what will be the answer? What will I get?
You have 30.
Really? Let's see.
Sum from what?
Yeah. This is the question I want to ask you. Why what? 10 and 20.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's not taking it as a like a proper sum, but he's putting those values together without really summing them. This is what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, this is why. See, the Python, when you're asking input from the user is typing it as a plain text. Okay. So he accepts everything as a string, not a number. Okay. So this is actually kind of a string like this. Now, if you add this, and addition means, see in the previous line, what I did, I added it, right? If you are I had the plus operator, use the plus operator, it will just join two string. F name was Pratik, B Bose, last name was Bose, and I added them both with a space in between. See, I added a space in between. You got it, right?
No, for the small space, what's the purpose of the small space? I would like to know.
To have a space in between the first name and the last name?
No. I mean, when you pass full name equal, full name equal first name plus.
I'll show you this like this. I'll show you both of them. See what happened is. Okay, we'll run both of them. See, enter your first name, right? Pratik. Enter Bose. Okay.
And then you have both.
So showing Pratik Bose. See the space in between. Okay.
Okay, that's the purpose of that space.
Okay. Now I'm doing that. I'm just removing it. I'll just compare it with this below one. See. Enter the first name.
Pratik.
Bose. See how it is showing. I removed that space in between. Just I wrote the plus operator.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now one more thing. See, since I have not commented it out, it is also running this program as well because it's after this. Yeah. So it is asking for the first number. So I'm giving 10. I'm giving 20. So it's giving 10, 20. It's treating it like my name as a string.
Just like strings. Okay,
got it.
Okay, so, got it. Thank you.
We need to but we need the sum, right? We are making a calculator. So I have taught you this. You have to apply this here. Yeah. So we learned about this, right? What was this? This converts, you can see this converts the float, string into float. If you give an input here, it will convert into float. If you give a float, it converts into int. Whatever you want to convert to, you just write that in front of it and it works. Okay. What is our purpose in this case? It is a string, right? We want it to be a number or integer. What we do, we just mention int inside the bracket. We will put this entire thing. You got it? See, I'm just putting int to the entire and putting it, inserting the entire thing, whatever we are asking for. We are expecting that this will be a string that we will get from here on the right side. We are just converting this, wrapping it into int. This is known as type conversion. What type we converted? We just converted string type to integer type.
In this case, you're gonna have a proper sum right now, correct?
Yeah. Now A and B has 10 and 20 as a number.
Okay.
So now if we are summing it, it will understand that plus we are going to plus it as a number. So just I'm running it from the beginning. See, just giving 40. Okay. Goes. Now I'm giving 10, 20. See the result.
Yeah. Got it. Got it, sir. Thank you.
You got it, right?
Yeah, clear.
So that's how this is a small program and the difference between string and here you need to remember one important thing is whatever you write on the screen for an input function, it will always be a string, no matter what. And if you want something to do with that, to convert it to something else, to get a desired value, you have to convert it later after getting the result.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So then we have something else as well, reading multiple inputs. What if you want to read multiple inputs? Then what happens is I want an input. Enter 5 numbers separated by space. So what if I don't want to enter one by one? I want like 10 numbers are there or 5 numbers. I want the average of it. Now I will keep on adding 10, then we'll press enter, then second line will come where it will ask for second number. In this way, if there are 100 numbers, how can I just keep on adding and asking every time, right? So I want a way so that I can just mention all the numbers at a time. So if I'm writing this and taking an input, let's say S, I took an input or a list. I took a list and I just wrote this and I'll print the list. See, enter 5 numbers separated by space. Okay. Oh, I haven't given any colon. So let me do it again. Yeah. So I'll write 1 space 2 space 3 space 4 space 5. So I've given 5 numbers. Okay. I'm just pressing enter. See, I'm getting this. If I do any operation, it won't work because this is a string. This is actually what we got was like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this. This is a string that we got. A simple string or a name. If I am going to add one, if I want to, this is not a list. See, I wrote a list. When you see a list, when it gets printed, it gets printed in square bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this list of collections where this is an integer. Now, if I'm writing 1, if I write 1 and run it, see, if I'm writing 1 and run it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it is showing space. Still not working completely. See what happened here. I was expecting the answer as 2, right?
It's printing the space.
The space between 1 and 2. It's actually a string.
Yeah.
It's actually a string. It's still not working. I wanted 2. I was expecting, but since it is taking it as a string, that is why it is not working. So what should I do? We have to convert this into a string. Okay. So in that case, what we do is we write a loop. Now that I'll tell you how it is done. First, we have to split this. For example, this value which we are getting as input, this is a string. We get a string, right? Like this. We get a string like this: 1 space 2 space 3 space 4 space 5. This is what we get, a string. We get a string like this. So right now, this value is equivalent to this, what we are getting as input. What we want individual numbers. So what we do there, in string we have learned many functions like length and all those. We have a split function I taught earlier in the class. Split function. So what split function does is it detects the entire string wherever there is a split delimiter. This is called delimiter, whatever I am passing inside. Whatever is there, it detects and splits them into two containers, and I'll show you how it does. It converts it into a list and keeps all those values in each list. Okay. So now what happens? It will split this value into 5 different parts. Now it will, after splitting, it will be like 1, then it will be 2, this will be 3, this is 4, this is 5. These are all independent values. You get that? This is how it will work. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Maybe run an example, just
yeah, I'll show you. This is how it will run. Like it will separate itself. It will no longer be a string. It will be individual element. Here it is one element, but here it will be individual elements. Now what happens? Here, if you just introduce a for loop, this I will teach you in later class. I did not require though. Now I'm just running this. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I'm getting 2. It got converted into a list. See, if I'm just printing the list again, 1 space 2 space 3 space 5. See, can you see the result now, and can you detect the difference?
I can see the difference.
It converted into a list. Now we can access each of the elements. Now if I'm writing here as if I'm writing this, see, I'm writing, if I want list of 0, that will give me 1. List of 1 will give me 2. List of 3. So let's run it and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, 1, 2, 4. Okay. See, list of 0 is 1, list of 1 is 2, list of 3 is 4 actually, because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth position. That is list of 3. Starts from 0. That is what. So we are getting individual element. Now we can do anything, addition, subtraction. Earlier it was a single string. If we would have taken list of 0, it would have given me all the spaces. Like L of 0 will be this, L of 0 will be this, L of 1 will be space, L of 2 will be 2, L of 3 will be again space. So it's actually a string, entire string. We are taking out individual characters. But in this case, what we did, after writing this statement, we converted it into a list. Once it is converted into list, we can manipulate all the values wherever it is.
Yeah, got it.
Got it. So you have, what we did was, this you will know, understand later when we will teach, we'll learn about for loop. So here what we did, we just took the input, we just did the split using a space. Whatever items came in, using the loop function, we are providing x in this list. We are providing the value of x from here. We are transferring x, first element 1, then second, then third, like this. We are just transferring and making this string of list.
Question. So can I? Yeah. So this dot split that you passed the when you were converting the enter 5 numbers separated by space. Is that the one allowing you not to print the space that we were printing when you tried to print and then you were printing the space before? I just want to understand what is
in the previous time.
Yeah.
Previous time it wasn't working it wasn't working as a split because it was considered as a single string. So that is why split was not there. Later on we added a split to split it. But still since it is a string or a single, it was a single string, like my name, Pratik. It's kind of that. It's a single word, one made of 1 space, 2 space, 3. This is not number. This is just a string. When we are trying to access the index of that string, we are getting the value based on that. All these, and space is also considered as a character in Python. So that is why it is treating the space as a character in the second index. So that is why when I am writing LST of 1, it is providing me the value that is the space. So here what happens if I am writing it comma? Okay, if we want someone to input something with comma, then we have to write the split with comma. Now if I am running this value, when I'm entering, I will just write comma 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I've entered using comma. If I press enter, it will give me the same result. So you can change the code if they want that. If the user says that they are comfortable in inputting the numbers using comma, then you have to change the code and split it with comma. Based on the requirement, you will change the code. If they say that they are comfortable using space, then you have to give space. So what happens is when you enter this, let me show you my screen and explain once. What we did was or let's say enter. This is the user's website. Okay, user input. And this is the code that is running inside the computer, which we cannot see. So now if I'm entering values, let's say I am entering values like 1 space 2 space 3 space 4 space 5. This statement takes the value. When I write a code like this, input enter values, LST equal to this. When I run this particular statement, I will get this on the console screen where I will enter this value. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I enter it in the computer at the back end, what it will understand is I got a container where from the screen, and this container's name is LST. This container got the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not number. This is one big chunk of word. This is a word, single word. Like we have Pratik, like that. This is a word. Okay, this is just a word. Only one element. Now, I want 3 to take out this value 3, and I want to add 10 to it to get result 13. But I cannot get this because this is a single word. Till now I'm getting a single word, and computer understands this as a single word. What if we had, but what we want is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that I get this one, I can do anything I want. So right? So I convert it to list, actual list. This is, we have given the name as list, but actually it is a string.
Yeah, I got you. Got it, right. Yeah, but is the line that you passed to convert it that I got a bit lost there?
Yeah. So see, so what happened when I entered as a user, I gave space, right, while entering. So when I gave space here, that means I know that the input is given as space from the user. So I want to split it. So if I split it, I need to split it with space only, not any other value. So that is why what I did, I wrote the letter, written the code as input enter value. Here I am giving dot split. What I have written, dot split, a single space, right? Okay. So what I did was dot split, a single space I have given. So it is taking a space. And now it already, what it did was, is already the computer understood that after this line, this has become like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. It has split. It has already splitted. It's no more a word now. It's all characters. But I want this in the form of a list, in a proper list container, set of container. It's not yet in the container. So what I did, I wrote a for loop now.
Yeah.
I wrote a for loop for x in this range. Okay. So what it did, for loop, what it does, it takes one element. Loop means it takes the first element. Okay. And it takes the first element, then it takes the second element, then it takes the third, then it takes the fourth, then it takes the five. Still now, it has not yet saved it in a container. Okay. So what we did, final step was, see what we did in the final step was, the final step was list equal to something like this, right? In this we have to mix. That is why this is represented at list. So it should have a value x, where this for loop will put these values here one by one. Okay. So what we did, we wrote it like this, square bracket. We have wrote the x. Now what x, where will the x get the value? It will get the value from for loop. So for x, I am putting this entire thing here. For x in input, enter values dot split, like this. You got it, right?
Yeah. You'll be now I understand what it was, just like a spiritual thing that we were doing before. Okay. So now you're just
this entire thing, this entire thing got the value from the screen and kept transferring it to x. First time it transferred the x as 1, picked this value and transferred it 1. Then second time when it is a loop, it keeps on splitting and transferring 2. So 2 came in, then again transferred 3. After each split, it is transferring and getting the other value after the space split. Then it kept on making the string till the split is over. Then once it reached 5 of that word here, when it reached this 5 here, we don't have any more space, right? So it stopped and the list got created here, LST.
Yeah.
Since these were characters, they have single quotes. Still now, see, there is a doubt. Previous discussion we saw, right? If you are adding a string with 10, in this case, if you write like this, LST print, LST of 3, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. If you write 2, it will give you the answer as 3, right?
That's correct. Now you have it as a container.
Now, if you write 3 plus 10, this answer will be 310, not 13. Why? Because it is still in string. Just now we discussed previously, right? Like Pratik Bose and 1020, 1020. Similarly, now what you have to do, you have to convert this into a int. Then only you can do it. So what you have to do, till now you have written this, right? You just do a final thing, right? List equal to square bracket, type conversion. Now again the type conversion. Whenever you have to convert, you just write int, and inside that you write the entire thing. X. Now you put this entire thing here. So yeah, anything. X for x in input, enter values dot split. You got it, right? Now it will give you list of, earlier it was giving you list of string. Now it will give you list of integers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if you add print LST of 2 plus 10, it will give you 13, not 310. Why? Because you have converted it into integer. See, it doesn't have any more these things, since you have converted into int. Type conversion.
Oh God.
Yeah, you did the type conversion, which you just learned it initially. Now, can you see the screen now? See, in PyCharm, I wrote this, and if I am adding, like, let's remove this 0 and all those. 2 plus 10. Okay. List of second position plus 10. Now I'm running this. See, comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. See, it will show error. Why? Because it is not int.
It's not compatible.
This is not int. This is string. It won't do. Got it?
Yeah, because
Even if I want to do it, let's see. LST of 2 plus 10. If I'm printing, see here. 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, 5. Yeah. See, 310. Why it showed 310? Because I have added a string, converted the 10 into string as a word I have added. Now if I typecast it to int, oh, okay, got it. We are entirely converting it to string. Only we have to do the number, right? We are writing this for loop, splitting the string, whatever we are getting in input, but we are transferring it one by one to this X, right? So this X judges the entire type of the list. So string was getting transferred to here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 character. So we have to typecast only this X because this is not required. This is an independent work going on. From the screen, we are getting the input, splitting it, and then if we convert this entire thing into int, then it cannot split, right? Because split over function works on string. That is why it is throwing error. See, now I am giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I have given the input as 5. Oh, I have given one more comma last. Okay. Now I'm entering. See, I'm getting 13. You just saw, right?
Yes, sir.
We got 13. So the mistake that was done previously was I just took the entire thing inside the type conversion bracket like this, which should not be the case because as I showed you that this entire thing is an operation of string that we get. This is the string that we entered. From here, it took the splitted the entire thing into 1, 2, 3. That was byte characters. That character we using the for loop, we are putting it inside this X. Okay. So if we directly convert this X and convert it to integer, then it will work. Why to try to convert the entire process? Instead, we are just converting the last container, which we are receiving the value in. So once we convert, and this only judges the value inside the list. So that is why writing this, we converted it. So there are 3, 4 steps here. First, you took the input, then you did the split, then you took the for loop, added it inside the list, then you do a type conversion into int. All these things you can do in multiple lines, but with the help of Python, you can do it in a single line. It's easy. And you created a list, you can do any operation now. If I'm removing this, okay, I'm just writing this. See, let me write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I'm getting an error because 10 cannot add to a character. Now X is a character, a string. Okay, no more a number because I removed that type conversion.
Yeah.
What if I write it float? You know float, right? Decimal. See, I'm writing float here. It will convert to float. Float does the operation of addition. See, 5. Enter. See, it introduced decimal point. Right? It converted everything to decimal float type of list, which have all the decimal values. Now, if I'm adding 10, you can convert anything you want. I showed you in that type conversion. See, there are 4 types.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
really interesting.
Now, so this is a kind of programming question which usually happens. Now, in a particular programming question, you get a lot bigger question. This is just a starting step. In the starting step only, you have 4 individual steps. So now what happens? Anytime in the future, if you get a question, oh, I have a input of these many numbers and I want to add something, you will know that, okay, this will always be there, this step. Then I will do some operation, whatever is that. So in this way, when you practice and face too many questions, then you know the blocks. You remember those, you join those blocks and create the program. Got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh God.
Let's see what we can do today. Special types are over. Operators we have already learned, right? Input. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what about the print statement? Let us design something like we know how to take an input, right? 3 ways of taking input. Just simple input like this, what we have learned, and these where we get it as a string, right? Just a string. Then we did the type conversion to int. Then we got numbers. Then how we'll get a range of string. This is how we get the range of string. Okay. Here we get the range of integer. Instead of string, we get the range of integer. Here. Here you will get 13. Here you will get just 1310 if you want to add an operation of add. So we have learned 4 types of ways to take the input. Okay. Like this. Simple string input, simple integer input, where we did the typecasting. Similarly, range of string input, range of integer input, where we did the typecasting. So it's the same. Logic is same. We did the typecasting, but in the previous case, it was a simple input. Here we have a series of input. 4 ways. We'll cover all the conditions, type of input you can take in Python. So now we will move on to print statement. Now, sometimes what happens, you need to print in a way they want it, not that you want it. So let's write my name. That F name, we can write the F name and L name. Let's see if we have it here. No, we don't. I think we removed it. Okay. So F name equal to, I think, L name. Okay, I want to print. Both in the same line together. Okay. So I will just write F name, comma L name. Let's see what will be the result. See, this is a shortcut. Did you get it?
I got it, but for example, I have a question here. You haven't, you provide no space as you did, for example, in the previous example.
This is a shortcut. Print statement has it. If you want to do it like this, that was another way. This is another way. So now we will learn the properties of print statement.
Okay.
What can it do? So this is what you got, right? Now, what if I want a separator? SEP equal to comma. Let's see, does it work or not? See, I want
the name
comma
to be
in between.
Okay.
So sep is a keyword. If you give anything in the separator, like I give a percentage, if I'm running it, see, a percentage came in between. So if I have a middle name as well, okay, M name, okay, NA, anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I give a M name, see, it is giving separator in each of the outputs that we want. Now if I'm giving a double space or 4 spaces, I'm running it. See, it is maintaining all those 4 spaces as a separator. Whatever separator you will give, it will behave accordingly.
Okay.
I can give a word also. Let's say hi. Instead of this, I'll just say, we'll give some space and hi. Percentage, like star, something like this. Let's run it. See, this is how it is showing. You got the concept, right?
Yeah, concept is.
You can, they accept everything, whatever you want, because it is a string, right? 1, 2, 3, if I give, then also number will also appear. So any kind of design, if you want to do, use the separator function in the print and you can do. And by default, it takes space. If you don't mention anything, this is the by default thing that they take. See, okay. Like if I am writing it without the separator, this can be a question. If I am writing without separator, what will be the answer and with? See, both are same because by default it takes as space. You got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the print statement, whatever we have learned here. And then there are different ways also to write it. Like if you are printing, let's say, print 5 times my name. So F name multiplied by 5. See, it came 5 times. Got it, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's say I will write all in one sentence. Like I want to write a sentence like my first name is, then I want it to print my f name after this. So I'll just give comma f name, then comma, and I'll give a space and my last name is comma l name. See if I'm running this. See, it's giving me. Oh, I've given a space. It takes the space by default. So I am removing the space. See, it gives the entire statement. My first name is Pratik and last name. See, I used a string of my choice and the variable where we are doing something. And see, this is useful when you have to calculate some SSN number or you have to do some special passcode. You write those, do some operations with your passcode, create it and save it in the variable of fname. Then after that, while printing, you will say my passcode is, then you can print it. So this is how it will print. This is just the format, how to design how the output will look. You can just write it according to your wish, whatever you want to. Mix and match of string and that variable. So there is one more, and see, this is going outside the screen. I want it to be visible. I want this to be written in the next line, not in the same line. We have learned escape sequence character like /n. If I'm giving a /n here, it is a new line. I'm running this. See, it came to the next line. So these are frequently used. /n/t, that is for tab.
This is more used for these front end programmers, right?
Front end, you have to be a front end, back end both. No, it's not for back end also. If you're writing a log file, right? We have log files where we have to save these everything which is happening in the entire application, all the flow. We have to save it in the log file. So that log, if there is any issue, the support analyst or the programmers, they see the log files and decide what went wrong. Then they can usually fix that issue. So in the log file, you have to display everything what is happening. So in that case of displaying something, you need this printing statement, how to write it so that it goes and saves. Not only in the front end, you write it in the back end as well. You saw, right, log file, how it is written. Initially, it has a timestamp with some dates and time. Then with colon, they have the name written of the class and function. Then they have the purpose error, something like that. So that is how it is stored. Like I want to give a time, right? I have a time. Let's say I have a time of, let's say 01 23 2023. Then I give some hour 10. I mean 06 50 PM, right? Or maybe 00 milliseconds. This is how the timestamp is given. It is written like this, time stamp. Like this it is written. Now what I will do, whenever I'm writing something, this is the log file. Maybe the today's log file, or maybe log file. Then I'll give a dash. Then I'll just write comma. I'll give the timestamp. Then I'll write this, and that's it. See, this is how it will work. I'll run it. See, log file timestamp like this, and maybe I'll give a /n here because I can't see it. I want to shift it to the new line. See, this is a timestamp. So whatever you want, you can control the display by manipulating something or the other and write it in the print statement.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so there is one more way, right? Okay, so one more way of representing it. There is one more way. This is the easiest one which you can do. Just write comma and separate it and mention it. But the other way is like, if you want to write something, you can just write log file is, then you will write %s, log file %s, then you will write all together. If you want to write everything together, log file, my name is %s, and my last name is %s. S here stands for string. Okay, so Once this is done, you have to just write here percentage round bracket. You got time, right? Time. Then it was f name, comma l name. Let's run it. See, log file timestamp is this. My first name is Pratik and my last name. See, this is the type of representation. In one time, you can write all the entire sentence how you have written. Only whatever value you want from the previous variable. Instead of that, you write the type of it. Like S is for string, so you're writing string, and then passing the value at a time here. It happens. This is usually used when somebody has written an older code and you are a new programmer and you came and you have to add something at the end. So you just go to the end, write percentages, and then add one variable here, whatever you're going to pass. Then it is helpful. They have mentioned different ways to display it. So it's up to you, whichever you feel easy, you can write that. If it is a short program, a small program, you can use this. Whenever you are already working in an enterprise organization where it is already mentioned like this, usually they use this method because it is a very long string. Maybe that can be a multiple 100 lines print. At the end, you have to do some tweaks. And in that case, you don't have to just copy the entire thing, keep on writing. Instead, you can just write, let's say my name is this and this. I am a new coder. I have to write one more addition. I have to get and something else. My last name is this and this. So I can just go to the last line and my name is maybe new addition. New add, I have given something like pro. So I will just write this in the last line and then and I have just added it at the end, and here I'll write new add. It will take it automatically. See here, it took and pro. I don't have to write everything, comma, and separate it and do it like that. Right. Otherwise, the other way is I have to write it here. Then again, it's the same thing though, but you have to write in, you have to search wherever. If this would have been a long line, then you have to keep on searching where I have to fit in, break it into two parts in commas, then I have to do. So this will be easier in that case. But if you're writing a small program, this way is easy. Just keep on adding everything based on the sentence, breaking in chunks. This is how you break into chunk and display it. Here you write it in a single line. Got it, right?
Yes, sir.
So these are the input and output statements. So we have covered two topics actually today. We have learned about arithmetic operators and as assignment, comparison, and logical operators today. And we have learned about input and output functions. Okay. How to take input, how to print the statement as output. So we have reached chapter 5 after completing data types, setup, and intro.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
The way they pass the string in Java is different from the way they pass it in Python, right?
Yeah, it is different. See, the logic is same. Here what we studied in building the input and this X and Y, these are same in Java. Only the input and output, those are called syntax. Syntax of different languages are different. Python made it easier. And
that's what I wanted to make sure that I'm getting, because
if you go switch to any other language, only these many rules will change. Printing this, instead of input, it will be written something else. Instead of print. Okay. So in Java, what happens? You have they follow the same syntax, similar to this only inside the bracket. But instead of print in Java, it is written system.out.println. Then you have to write something like this: hello world. So this is Java, and Python made it easier. They just write print hello world. So they both work the same way. So they kept on improving it, making it easier for us to learn, or the common people to learn who are not in IT. Okay. They are making it more similar to English language, normal English language, understandable. So that is why you see one of the properties of Python is like, why use Python? Because simple syntax.
And all this, we have these, the way they pass the string, everything in the data type that you have in the slide.
Yeah, they have in Java also. Integer data type, float, same name.
I'm asking on the material, do we have these details on data type? I mean, how the string are passed and you know.
Yeah, data type. I will give you the material. I haven't shared it yet.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure that, okay, for me to differentiate it in my mind, you know.
Yeah. No, you can do it. That will be mentioned there.
Yeah, but I just don't want to, be confused when I'm dealing with one type of language or programming language, and then when I switch to another, I want to be able to recognize exactly what I'm doing and which type of language I'm dealing with. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So no, you will always be dealing with either Java or Python, not both of them. So in
Yeah.
cloud, actually, what happens is either yeah, because they support both the languages. Those are the primary languages they support. So Java or Python. If you're going to an interview or something, if you ask them, you can just say that you are proficient in Python. So
Yeah.
they won't ask you questions from Java because they know when if you are given a work in Java, you can easily do it. You have to just Google it. Like in Google, you will write printing code for Java or Java code to print a statement, you will get that syntax which I wrote. So you will understand, okay, this is how the wordings are. Only the languages are different. Okay, the rest all the operations are same.